Alright, good morning friends. Today I'm going to be preparing what I have called the mirror purse, and I've started already. I've run the first step, which is just the outline of the purse and the area to put the zipper, the runway to put the zipper. So I'm going to take my zipper and I'm going to place it here, and I'm going to put this piece here, the plastic piece in the center, the actual teeth of the zipper, right between these two lines where my finger's at. And it's not a big space, so you've got to be precise about it, but I'm going to do that and tape it down both here at the top and at the bottom and someplace in between. So I'll do that and be back in a moment. Okay, I've accomplished that task, and I'm going to take it to the sewing machine and tack the zipper down. So I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back from the embroidery machine, and I have tacked down the zipper, and boy am I close to the one side of the zipper, but I think it'll be okay. Okay, the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to turn the hoop over, and of course I didn't grab my pieces on the way in here. Let me fire up my iron, get it ready. I'm going to get one piece of, well, I didn't even cut this in two. Let me pause for a second. I'll be right back. Alright, I'm back, and I have my piece of lining, and I'm going to put that right, the edge of it right below this line here. So let me do that now. Let me see if I can. Okay, I think that's fine, and let me see where here's my lines. And where's my line? Here's my other line right here. Okay. So let me tape this down. Okay, so then just let your the piece of lining fabric just roll over like this to the front. Turn your hoop over. Let me grab a piece of tape and take your piece of lining and fold it over, and just take and tape it down here somewhere so it'll stay out of the way and not be a problem. And then we'll take our main fabric, and this is going to be our main fabric, all of these mustaches, and this is directional, so I want it to sit just like this. So all I do is just take and fold it up like this, and it will come out perfectly. So when you have directional fabric, that's what you do. So let me put it, I'm putting it right about on the edge of the zipper or slightly below. And that, so let me grab some tape, tape it where it should be, and that'll be okay. And one over here. And I'm going to take this to the sewing machine. It's going to stitch a line of stitches right across here and tack down this the top exterior part, and the bottom, and on the other side of the hoop, the lining piece. And so when I turn it back down, as you see, it'll be in the right orientation. So hold on. Be right back. Okay, I'm back, and as you can see, the orange row of stitches going through right along here, and I've checked the back. Always check the back to make sure that you've caught the fabric back there, and I've checked it and it's fine. So I'm going to take my piece of what I am using as batting here and put it right below the stitch line here, and I have cut everything. I have this wonderful template I got from Martelli Notions in Pensacola, Florida. They made specifically for me. They make custom templates for all your quilting needs. Give them a little plug. They're nice people. And they made this for me since I make a lot of, I'm now making all these 6x10 bags. I make everything off all the pieces 7x11 except for this piece of batting. I've made it 6x11, so it's just an inch shorter. So I'm going to take my main fabric and roll it over here, showing my pretty yellow, bright, cheerful zipper. And I'm going to take this to the iron, and I'm going to iron this down and make sure it's way away from the zipper and put a nice crease in here. So I'll be back in a minute. Alrighty, that task has been accomplished. We've got a nice crease going along through here, right below the zipper teeth, and I'm going to now go to the embroidery machine, and the next step will be to stitch stitches right below the zipper and around the other sides. So let me do that and I'll be right back. Alrighty, back, and just want to show you that I have sewn this down. As I said, it's right, oh come on here, focus, right underneath the zipper here and all around the exterior. And the next thing I'm going to do is the next step is the machine is going to run a placement stitch for what I'm call the mirror frame, which is going to be the part right, right around here, just about probably an inch in or 3/4 of an inch. And my frame is going to be made out of this nice faux leather, which matches, it matches this mustache here. So that's what I'm going to do, and I'll be back momentarily. Okay, I'm back, and I have had the placement stitch sewn down, and you can see it going here and around through here. And a nice little shape there. And so what you're going to do now is take whatever is going to be your frame and cover your design. And you can tape it down if you want to, but I'm not going to do that. I don't believe it'll move. Sure as I say that it will, but I'm going to go now, and it's going to run the placement's going to tack this down. It's going to, not the placement, it's going to run the tack down of this piece of vinyl. So I'll be right back. Alright, I'm back. I have now had this the frame part tacked down, and I'm going to go to my kitchen counter, and with a seam ripper I'm going to very, very carefully stick this in and make a little opening so I can get in there. And I'm going to take my sharp applique scissors, and I'm going to cut all around right up to the edge of the stitch line, all the way around, and remove this piece in the center so I can see what the focus of my bag is, the pretty fabric under this. So I'll do that, and I'll be back in a few minutes. Alright, I'm I'm back, and as you can see, I've cut out the center portion, and I'm going to now take this to the machine, and it's going to do a beautiful, hopefully, satin stitch right through here. And it's pretty thick. I haven't cut this back as much as I usually do, but the satin stitch is a thick satin stitch, so it should cover all of that. So we'll see, but I'll be back in a bit. Okay, I have come back, and the satin stitch has been finished. I think it looks very nice, and the next step is going to be some quilting around the exterior here, and then I've got to run a line across here with a line of satin stitching to, because I'm going to have you cut some off here, some of this extra faux leather off. So, but anyhow, one thing at a time. I'm getting ahead of myself. Let me go have the machine do the quilting, and I'll be back in a few minutes. Okay, I'm getting ahead of myself. I hope this is where I left off. It has now done some pretty stitching on all four sides, and I think that really looks nice. And the next thing that I got ahead of myself is that the next step is for a placement line. Not that we're doing applique at this point, but a line being sewn right across, right above this area, right below the zipper, and now I need to take and cut right along this line and get rid of this excess piece of vinyl here, and I'll do that and be back momentarily. Alright, I have trimmed right at that line that I stitched down a moment ago, and we're going to have a very small satin stitch run right through here to just so we don't have any raw edge of the vinyl, because you know I've got to think about raw edges. So anyhow, let me go run that line of satin stitches, and I'll be right back. Alright, this tiny little row of satin stitching has been completed. At least the raw edge of the green faux leather, or the vinyl hat, doesn't show any longer. However, I apparently didn't pull the fabric here down far enough, so we have a little bit of fabric that is sticking out there, but nothing I can do about it at this point, so just try to pull that as tight down as possible. But the next thing we're going to do is I'm going to let the piece of lining fall down back onto the back where it belongs. And I'm going to take off these pieces of tape. Okay. That I never do, that I've just started remembering to do in the past few days. So both those pieces of tape are gone, and I'm going to take and tape this down on both corners. Let me grab another piece of tape over here. Alright, I'm going to do that, and now I'm going to probably go by the iron on the way over to the machine and just press this down so it's nice and flat. So the next this next stitch will run. It'll be a repeat of what was, I think, maybe step 4 or 5, where it went all around underneath the zipper and all around here, and it's going to tack down that piece of lining on the back. So that's our next step, so I'll be back in a minute. Okay, the line going around the exterior and underneath the line of satin stitches has completed. Actually, it's this line barely under the satin stitches, so that has tacked down the back lining fabric beautifully. It's perfect now, and so the next thing we're going to do is we're going to remove this piece of tape over here, and we're going to open the, oh, I can't believe it's opening. Oh, I said that too soon. Okay, what's it caught on? Okay, let me turn the camera off for a moment because somehow it's caught. Well, that was odd. As many hundreds of bags as I have made, I have never had the zipper get caught on the back stabilizer, so I just removed it, and now it is fine, but I've never had it do that. That's a first. So we've got the zipper moved about 3/4 of the way over. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to, okay, there's that. We're going to take and put the back fabric on and just make sure the orientation is the way you want it, and then just simply turn it over and make sure that a little bit of it is above the zipper. Oh, how in the world did that get cut? Okay, and it's covering on the bottom, it's covering on both sides, so I'm going to pull it up just a wee bit. Okay, and then, oh, where's my, let me go get it, my back piece of batting. Let me put that down on top of it. So we put this in the right orientation, face down, and then we put the batting on top of it, and I'm going to take it to the sewing machine, and it's going to be tacked down, and we will have only, oh, wait a minute, I'm getting ahead of myself. Let me take this back off. Let me show you, I've made my little pieces for attachment of a crossbody bag. I've made this gray to match somewhat this gray here. Not the best match in the world, but it's what I had. And so I'm going to tape these about 1 inch in on each side. Well, this is not going to be the best I've ever done, but it'll have to work. Okay. Come on. Well, let me pull that down like that. Okay, I've got both taped at the top and taped here in the middle piece. Actually, this is too high. After I turn the camera off in a moment, I'm going to readjust it. But I will put back again the pieces of your main fabric and your batting, put them face down here, and then go to your machine and run the next step, which will do a exterior all around the exterior of the bag, closing everything in. So do that, and I'll meet you back here in a few minutes. Okay, I'm back, and this round round before the last one has stitched all around the exterior of the bag and closing everything. And on the back, this is the point I would tell you to remove the whatever you're using for the stabilizer, I would tell you to remove it at this point, but as you saw, I had that problem a little earlier, so I've already removed mine. So I'm going to stick on the last face down. I'm going to stick on the last piece of lining. So here we are. That looks good. It's covering the top and zipper. Everything looks good. Covering the bottom. Everything's fine. Okay. I'm going to take this, I'm going to tape it down in the four corners. 1, 2, 3, and 4. And take it to my machine and run the very last color stop. And then the sewing will be over, and then we can move on to the next part. So hold on, be right back. Okay, the sewing has now completed, and what I'm going to do now is I always turn it to the lining side so I can see, and I'm going to just cut about 1/4 of an inch all the way around on this side, here up where the zipper is, past about 1/4 inch past the zipper down this side, and stop right here, and then I'm going to leave about 1 inch, or however far the rest of this fabric is. I want to leave this fabric as is. I'm going to cut it at an angle like this, and I'll cut that and I'll come back and show you what it should look like. Now you can see I have trimmed all around the 3 sides, and here on the bottom, here's my turning hole that's been left open, and here's the other piece of lining. I'm going to take the rest of all of this, what's left, and trim it right about 1/4 of an inch from this seam line. Well, about right here. I'll cut all the rest of this, not these 2 pieces, which are the lining pieces. Don't cut those. Cut all the rest of this off. So just pull these back, hold these back like I'm doing, and cut about right there along this area here. So let me do that and I'll be right back. Okay, I have trimmed that. So now all I've got are my 2 pieces of lining. And when I set the phone down, I'm going to turn this bag inside out through here. And I'll be back in just a minute. Okay, now I have turned the bag out to where on both sides you will see the lining fabric. So now I'm going to take this now, and I'm going to give it a little press to make it easier to maneuver, but I'll be turning these 2 flaps in just like this, and turn this one in the same way where this top one covers, so they overlap. Hopefully you get an idea, even though I can't do this with one hand. And I'm going to take the iron and iron them down nicely so that they're flat, and I'll be back in a moment. Alright, I've got those 2 pieces turned in nicely and pressed, and now I'm going to go to the sewing machine and put a line of stitching right along here, which will seal up the bottom of the bag. Be back in a moment. Alright, I have sewn a line of stitches through here, so the bottom is now closed. And I need to just do some cutting away of these little threads here, thread ends. And as soon as I do that, what in the world is that right there? Well, as soon as I do that, I'm going to turn the bag out and we can finally see how it looks. So I'll do the trimming of the threads and turn it out, and I'll be back in a few minutes. Alright, it's finally done, and here we are. I think it looks just fine. It's quite nice. It'd be great if you had maybe some fabric with a picture printed on the fabric, and maybe have your pet or your child or something else emphasized here in the middle, just like a picture frame. I think that would be really nice. But this is what I've done for today, and I appreciate you watching me make this tutorial, and I hope you enjoy making it. If you decide to make it, I hope you enjoy it as much as I've enjoyed this, and I'll see you tomorrow with another pattern and another tutorial. Thank you.